Well, since I was very little, I've always been interested in art and doing artistic things. I've been very creative, and I've always loved photography ever since I was given my first camera. I was on holiday with my mum and dad and my little brother, and I was given a little Instamatic. It had this little turret on top with a flash unit, which had 4 flashes. And once you'd used those flashes, that was it. You had to go and buy another flash unit. They were really expensive, and I can't even remember how many shots you got. I think it was something like 12 shots per film, little 110 cartridge film. But I just loved taking pictures of it, and they were only holiday snaps, and I was probably only about 6 or 7, so they weren't very good. I don't even know if I've still got them. Never considered photography as a career. I was, like I say, I did art and I went to art college and got a degree, but I focused on graphic design because that's where I thought my career was. That's where I thought I was going to make a living. So I did that, and I worked as a designer for about 5 years. And at about the time I was getting disillusioned with the industry and the politics involved, and working for creative directors, coming up with all these amazing ideas, knowing full well that they're going to go with whatever he says. I was getting really downhearted about the industry, and it was at that point I was made redundant. And I'd just got a new digital SLR, and I thought, well, do you know what? I actually prefer taking photos. All my design stuff that I've been doing have been very heavily photographic based, lots of big images with small amounts of typography around it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go, I'm going to be a photographer, and since then I've never looked back. The main thing, if you want to do any form of photography, is you have to do it before you get hired for it. People aren't going to just hire you because you said, oh, I do this. They have to be able to see it, otherwise you're just making it up. So I've spent a lot of time working on my own book, my own portfolio, doing random tests and getting models and makeup artists and stylists, and because of that I'm getting clients that are asking me to shoot their entire catalogues and their lookbooks, and ad campaigns and things like that. It gets a bad press, Photoshop, because people think that it's manipulating an image and what have you, and to be honest, it's nothing that you can do in Photoshop isn't stuff that you could have done before in the dark. It should be a case of you're refining the image, you're making it the best it can be. If you look at an image and go, oh, that's been photoshopped or retouched or whatever, then you've gone too far. Commercially, everything is digital now. I couldn't do what I was doing now if I wasn't using digital. This year alone, I've taken about 25,000 photos. I dread to think how much that would cost if I was still shooting film. I love the look you get from film. I love the sort of lo-fi approach to photography. I love using my Holga. I've got a little box brownie that I took to London Zoo on one occasion. I'm just about to get a new Polaroid camera because Polaroid film's now been remanufactured. So looking at various things like that. I mean, no, commercially I don't use film and wet photography, but digital. But if it wasn't for digital, I wouldn't be able to mess around with film photography. Having said that, another tool that I have that I love to use is still digital, but I love my iPhone camera. The fact the iPhone technically it's a crap camera. It doesn't actually do much. The pictures of it, they're grainy, they're horrible, they're muddy, but the things you can do with it and the apps that are available, I take so many photos with my iPhone. There was a photographer that inspired me when I was just starting out called Chase Jarvis, and he's made an app and a book based on the best camera is the one you have with you. Fashion photography it's an interesting genre because it's not a genre. Fashion is brands. It's not about just showing off the clothes. It's about conveying the brand of a certain label. And certain brands have certain ideas that they want to convey. Diesel, for example, their latest campaign is all around being stupid. So they've got models and whoever basically acting like idiots in their photos. It's not stereotypical fashion photography. Fashion changes with fashions. One of the most important things if you want to work with models is they have to be comfortable. There has to be a connection when you're shooting people. It's not just models, it's anyone. The beauty of when you're doing a big fashion shoot and you're working with models is that you've got a certain period of time, usually an hour or two, before the makeup and the clothes are all finished and you're ready to shoot. So in that time, I normally sit with the model, chat crap about, doesn't matter what, all sorts. And it's that sort of building up a rapport that enables them to feel comfortable and know that you're not just this big evil photographer that's standing behind the camera. I've got really, really lofty aspirations. One day I hope I'm shooting for the covers of Harper's Bazaar and Vogue, magazines like that. It's a long way off. I'm really fortunate that I have worked for various magazines. I've been published all around the world. I'd also like to work for big fashion houses like Versace and Gucci and whoever. There's no secrets to getting to work for these people. All it is, it's who you know. It's about getting seen and being in the right place at the right time. The biggest and best way I've found for getting my work seen is social networking on the internet. We've got websites now like Facebook and Twitter and Flickr and Tumblr and there's so many of them, and there's new ones coming on all the time, and you can put your work on there and millions of people can see it. Back in the day, if you wanted to do photography, you had to go to college, then you had to assist people, and it was years and years and years before people would even take you seriously and look at your work. Now you don't need that. You can pick up a camera, you can go out and shoot, and there's always people that will want to model for you, and there's always people that will do your makeup, and you can collaborate with so many people. People like Richard Avedon, Helmut Newton, David Bailey, people like that have been really inspirational to me, especially with portraiture. I've got lots of books of theirs, Knight and David LaChapelle. I love their work, I love their style. Mario Testino as well. I've been very into Terry Richardson's work of late. It's opened up my eyes in terms of what's important in a photo, and it's not technique, it's not having the best equipment, the best lighting. It's about connecting with the model, it's about creating a rapport. Everything else is irrelevant. The more you work, the harder you work, the luckier you will be.